Cyberpunk 2077 is an open world role-playing game, and it's heavily narrative driven. Like in CD Projekt Red, story is the king, and in this game you play as a V, as a cyberpunk mercenary who just started his journey and he's into fighting through the night city to finding his or her own way. Yeah, so since we're sticking to making it a true open world RPG game, we have these storytelling moments. What we're aiming at is to keep the essence of Cyberpunk 2020. And because of that, during the character creation process, you are picking up not only your character's appearances, right, but also his or her background, what type of initial looks she has, but also her attributes, skills, and abilities in general, right? So we got the strength, the reflex, and other types of typical Cyberpunk 2020 skill sets. But when it comes to skills and entire core of gameplay mechanics, so this is, we are making a video, right? And Cyberpunk 2020 was a pen and paper RPG. So obviously we are making our own tweaks and adjustments in order how to translate that 2020 system to work in Cyberpunk 2077, which is set in the alternate reality. So obviously we are tweaking and adjusting. When it comes to gameplay core mechanics, this is something we make on our own. Okay, I think it's it's an RPG, right? And if you played The Witcher, you know how we approach stuff to create the full RPG experience. And obviously itemization and weapons is something that we are adjusting and tweaking all the time. When it comes to the rarity or strength of the weapons, so this is a part of creating a gameplay combat balance, right? It's all about balance, and balance is something we are tweaking right now, and I do not want to actually talk too much about it because it's all about what you get from the box. but when it comes to for the weapons, if you want to talk, I can tell you a few things about weapon systems, right? So we have smart weapons, tech weapons, and power weapons. Power weapons are the ones you can ricochet bullets off the walls, so you hit the guys in the cover. And you got the tech weapons, which you can charge and then shoot. So you shoot through the cover, and this is how you hit the target. And the other weapon is kind of long range weapons is the rifles, tech rifles. Sorry, and basically you can use the auto-lock system to make the bullets follow a trajectory, like a home aiming system for the bullets. And we also have mantis blades. When it comes to the melee combat system, right? We have mantis blades, the thing from that goes through your hand, and you can slash it and fight with it, and hang to the walls, and then jump down to the enemies to make it more spectacular. And when it comes to the other melee kind of weapons and systems, we also have katana, which wasn't shown in the demo, but I can actually say that we have a katana in the game as a weapon. Yes. If you saw the demo, right? So in the demo, there was moments when we were using the stealth approach, right? Like in the beginning with the guy in the bathtub, and later on after the deal scene, you could also stealthily attack the person. So stealth is one of the things we want the players to be able to do as one of the choices on how they actually approach combat, right? Because we don't want to limit anyone in how they actually approach any given situation, but with actually some situations we will be able to use stealth mechanism to basically navigate your way through the game silently and use the low cover situations to your benefit. So the game we're making is a first-person role-playing game, right? And it's a almost entirely first person. The only third person you can see is actually during the driving. I think you saw that in the demo, if I'm correct. So basically what this enables is that during the driving, it's not everyone wants to drive using the steering wheel. Like some people just actually want to see everything around them, and we are actually enable that for the players to be able to switch. But you're actually going to be able to see your character, your avatar, yourself in the game, simply because we will, for the key narrative moments, we will have cutscenes showing the player from the third person. As you saw in the demo, when you woke up, you saw the character starting his day. And that's why we chose that moment, because that's a very narrative important moment.
Yeah. So no third person on the account?
No third person on the account.
Project.
Oh, that's a very cool question. I think when it comes to the improving from The Witcher, the main thing is that we are able to say that we feel comfortable with the way how we combined open world with heavy narrative storytelling devices. And this is something we want to grow on in Cyberpunk. Because in Cyberpunk, we are not only using those two key components, but we are also, via FPP, we're actually combining them to create a bigger narrative immersion. And as you could observe in the demo, we introduced interactive scene system for dialogues. And I think in order to really immerse yourself as a player, right? I feel that it's one of the best ways to do it. So I'm personally really proud of it and how it actually works. But the way I see it is that as long as the player has an option to talk and to choose during the dialogue what he wants to do. Like, I can talk to you right now and we are engaged in conversation. But if I want to talk to him for a while, I would have to point at him. I would actually point to him and trigger a dialogue choice. And you, as a character, as an NPC in this world, you could react to that I cut the dialogue with you and start talking with you. And you can observe that, parts of that in the demo. Like in the deal scene with Royce, you actually there's one moment where when we actually decided to pull out the gun, right?
Yes.
Right, so we actually cut that conversation. We just pushed that conversation into a different direction. Luckily for us, it ended up the way it did, but this option was also available in different moments in the demo. Like in the demo, in the Militech Corpus scene, where there was a car and people were waiting for you down there, and you could also have an option to pull out the gun, right? And that would take that story into a different direction. And we really want your choices you make during those key moments to be really yours. So you can actually feel that you're the player, that's why first person, and that's why your choices matter, but also the consequences. I will try to answer the first part. So, for Cyberpunk 2077, the main inspiration is obviously the Cyberpunk 2020 pen and paper role-playing game. Like, this is our base, our way of actually thinking about the world, creating it. We use certain characters from Cyberpunk 2020, but in certain themes we introduce them in Cyberpunk 2077. But as I mentioned before, we are not afraid of adjusting the Cyberpunk 2077 with our own tweaks in order to create a true video game that is open world and first person role-playing game, right? And when it comes to inspiration, I'll be honest, the entire genre of cyberpunk is such a vast, cultural, diverse thing that it's very difficult for me to pick anyone in singular. I think the entire genre, we're just looking at it from every single direction. So we are planning to release the game international, right? We are going to try to release the game everywhere where it's possible. When it comes to actual whether we have voiceover or text, I'm sorry, I'm not able to answer that question. This is not something in my expertise. I'm sorry about that. But yes, we're planning to release the game internationally. We're planning to have a lot of voiceovers and as many as possible, and in those languages that we want to be able to do it, then the text option will be the only way. But I can't have any more details for that, sorry.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. It was great. It was great. Super cool.
That was
Yeah. That's cool.